Keep that on, because I said I would go with it. Alright. So we as people get caught up in like the daily grind a lot. In my last video I talked about how we were kind of living in a fucking fireball, but what I meant by that is tend to like burn our days away and kill time, and I mean that's not always fun. I mean it's living. It's not living, L-I-V-I-N, it's existing, but sometimes when you stop and like view what's really going on, there's a lot more magic and light through this darkness that we're constantly escapading through, and I feel like we don't take enough time to appreciate it, the magic of like just life. I'm sitting here and usually I'd be listening to music, maybe singing along, kind of cringe, you know, but what does that do for you for the rest of the day? I mean, for me, it's like a cornerstone. It helps me prepare for what I'm about to go through with that fireball. And it's not easy. This guy's not going. Okay. It's not easy to navigate through this darkness and this unknown, but we do it every day and we live. I just think that it would be a little bit more fun to view it as a magical journey instead of just a mundane day-to-day schedule of wake up, go to school/work, do your errands, and maybe, I don't know, do something productive, and just repeat that day the next day on Groundhog Day. And like, yeah, we have to do those things because we live in society, but for instance, I'm making this video right now while I'm driving to where I gotta go because, well, I'm trying to change it up a little bit, and people don't realize how much we can be doing with that time instead of just killing it. And I know it sounds really cliche, but these moments are precious and they're magical. You might not see it now, but start paying attention, open your eyes a little bit for the next few days, and you might realize what I'm saying. Like, things will happen to you, to others, that like are unmatched. They're unbelievable. They're irreplaceable memories that will change people for the rest of their lives. And it might sound like I'm just rambling about inspiration, but people, it's sad to just see everyone with their dead look in their eyes when we could be having a good experience. I look around and I see people just angry, and I get it. We have a lot of problems, but it's a journey. Life, it's a journey, it's a battle. But shouldn't it be fun? I don't want to say it should be happy, because such a broad term that, like, no one really can, like, maintain, because, well, like, what is happy? But you're not gonna get these moments back. And yes, I get it, we have another day the next day, but in this moment, this is the only chance you're gonna have. There's no tomorrow. There is a tomorrow, but there's no tomorrow, if you know what I'm saying. Like, we gotta take advantage of what we have, because if we're going to refer to this existence as a card game, you play with the cards that you're dealt. You don't get a choice. And with that being said, you gotta know when to hold them. You gotta know when to fold them. You gotta know when to walk away. And you gotta know when to run. And I don't think you should ever count your blessings when you're sitting at the table, because there's a time, well, for that, when the day's done. You know when, like, a thought bubble just pops up and you just gotta, like, do something about it? I'm in one of those states right now. And sometimes it's good to just, like, get it out, because, like, if you don't, you might just get lost in, I don't know, the daily grind, whatever you want to call it, once again. Oh, there goes my phone. Why do we react in such a destructive way? And I say that because I think we've all done some sort of self-sabotage, no matter what the relationship is. It could be with a partner, it could be with a parent, it could be with a friend. But the point is, we've all done things that we regret, and it hurts to look back on to see what you did, because you're like, damn, I was a shitty person. But do we ever, like, take a second to think about why we do that? And a lot of the time it's because we're powerless, or we feel powerless. We're not powerless, and we don't know what to do, so we kind of force a reaction. I don't know if it's a reaction, but it's forcing some sort of response to get some sort of hope in a hopeless situation. And when you look back on all the times that you've done that, I mean, we could probably think about, like, how many different ways we could have went about that, and how it could have went so much smoother. So I'm not gonna say that I regret the things that I've done, or that you should, but simply, like, knowing that I did those things helps for the future. And because a lot of the time so that we do irrational things is because we're afraid, we don't know what to do, and we want a solution to a temporary problem, and that's, like, a theme within a lot of things in like our lives, because to be honest, let's be real, we don't have as many good moments. Well, we have good moments all the time, but we don't have as many cathartic, really deep connected moments too often. And when we find someone that we do get these things with, or these moments with, we sort of become almost addicted to them chemically, like as if it was a substance or they were a substance. And I mean, you can't really replace those kind of relationships, but at the same time, putting that kind of pressure on a person can really start to drain them, and it almost turns into a sort of like a tug of war for emotions. And it's not something that I want to go back into because of how that situation feels. It feels overpowering when you do get that sort of validation, but afterwards, the damage that's done and the guilt that you have to sit with. Sure, the chaos and the toxicity like feels good because, well, we're destructive in nature, and there's just gotta be a better way. I don't know the answer for that, but all we can do is keep going and keep improving, and like that's all you can really do, baby steps. Because big problem that I've had is that I don't take the first step. I look towards the end goal and like expect it to be perfect by the first step, and a lot of the times we just gotta take that first step to initiate that pathway to achieve whatever you want it to be, like greatness, happiness, fun, content, anything. And maybe today, just think about something that you really care about. Just focus on what you have achieved and what you are doing today rather than the end goal, because we're so focused on the prize at the end of everything that we forget about the magic of the moment that we're in right now. And I feel like we wouldn't need a lot of that vampire type attention from others if we can appreciate what we have right now. Because at the end of the day, you cannot control anyone. You can control yourself. You can think that you can and use your manifestation powers or whatever you want to call it, but who can you control? Yourself. And sometimes that's even hard to do. I mean, sometimes it feels like we just... I'm gonna move this. Sometimes it feels like we just have a series of like set choices to make throughout like a story, and it almost feels like a story-based video game. But the point is, you're not controlling the other characters in that game. You're controlling your character, and you want what's best Well, I mean, of course we want what's best for everyone, but ultimately we can only do so much. So finding that sense of purity and clarity and serenity in the little moments can really like help your relations like more than you could probably imagine, with like projecting your problems and insecurities. Because, and I never agreed with this until about recently, but you can't fill someone else's cup when your cup's empty. I mean, you can, but it's gonna be full of shit, and that's tough because we wanna fix things. As much as we are destructive, we also like to fix and amend. But we can't always do that, and all you can do is just build today. You're not at tomorrow yet, you're not at next month yet, you're here today. And if you can enjoy today better than you did yesterday, or the year before, or whatever, that's progress. And that's all that matters.